Right, a taboo question, winter fishing. Now, if you follow me over the years, I seem to catch quite a lot of carp in the winter. There's several things I do to achieve this. I do normally pick well-stocked waters, which gives you bites, which is good. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now, everyone knows I'm a boilie fisherman. I don't zig fish, so I'm not interested with that. And why wouldn't I do that? Purely, I don't want to foul hook a fish, I don't want to lose a fish, and I don't want to lose a big one, a target fish of the lake, purely because I've had a hook pull at the net. So I'm known for boilie fishing. There's a simple way I like to prepare what I call like bite fishing with boilies. Now we can all fire boilies out apart unless you put like liquids on. They're basically just a boilie laying on the bottom. They've got no attractiveness to them, no pulling power. Now this is my sort of zig fishing. It's the best way to explain it. I don't use maggots, not interested with that, not one single bit. So you can see where I'm coming from. Foam and maggots, not for me. So the first thing I would do is I've got my winter boilie. I'm using at the moment Urban Bait Strawberry Nutcracker. You can either sit there and do it yourself with one of these crushers or whatever, or if you've got an understanding wife like I have, I can use a food blender. So I'm sitting in there and I do about 5-10 kilo in one go, right, and I'd freeze it down. So it's one job done, takes me about, if I do 10 kilo, 15 minutes maybe. Once you've got that, you've got that is my maggots, right? So it's a finer, smaller pieces of food items. I want mostly crumb, but some chunks. Now if you were crumbing with your hand, you'd have too many like big chunky bits, and I don't want to overfeed them. I'm trying to pull them to sort of, it's just like there's something in the water, but there is a load of food items. You hold a handful of bait and you've got, let's just say 20 baits. You hold a handful of crumb and it's basically nothing apart from a few bits and a few bits of food items and just crumb. So when I get to that part, I need to add something to pull them. Now, I'm a great believer of this word. It's like a chum line. I use it in my floater fishing. Boilie fishing in the summer, I like to glug them with different liquids, salmon oil, etc, etc. Now with the water temperature being low, can't really use salmon oil or fish oils and stuff like that. So I use my oil carrier is hemp oil. If you ever chuck a handful of hemp in the winter in the edge, it'll just flat spot it off. Now it works in real low temperatures. Now that's the start of my chum line. So now I want to add other liquids, which everything likes nut juice, which is basically from tiger nuts. The other part of it as well, you've got liquid liver. Why would I want to do that? They love liver. I have to have a lot of, well, I'm going to admit it, you know, sometimes I like to have extra liver put in my bait, in my pop-up mix, when I make my own cork balls, blah, blah, blah. It's very highly digestible. So when you add it liquid form to your mix, what you've got then, you've got an oil as a carrier, right? Because it's below 10 degrees, the water temperature now, like I said, fish oils won't work. The oil disperse, goes away, it dissipates, it just goes on the wind, just spreads out, as we've shown in various video footage and pictures today. This also carries the food signals. Now, I like to add to the final part of the crumb boilie mix is stick mix. Now this is nothing, these are bits that I want to go on the oil, because once you mix these up, you can mix it up a day before, the night before. I like to do it just before I'm going to set out fishing, because once you've broken a boilie, it's like a massive sponge, and it's going to suck the liquid attractors into it. It coats all the little bits of stick mix because there's no chunky boilie, it's just powder form. And then you've got your crumb boilie. So why do you want, or why do I want, like chunks on the bottom? Because I'm feeding them then. Yes, but not a lot. I would say out of a handful of the mix I use, probably, I wouldn't even say 10%, 15% of it is actually food items, chunks, and they're small chunks, but these act as sponges. So when they're on the bottom, anything touches them, little fish, bream, tench, if you're lucky, carp, of course, that's what we want. When they touch it, it then sets the oil off and it's like pinging on the top again. So that reactivates the area. It's a bit like fishing with pellets. When the pellets break down, it's a bit hard this time of the year, that to happen. Because once you start getting the water temperature below 10 degrees, fish oils don't work. So we are now, instead of firing out loads of boilies, because I like to bait little and often, fishing, a bit like match fishing. It's like maggots, it's just little bits. So I'd cast my rod out, I'm not worrying about getting a marker out, all the rest of it. All I roughly want to do is cast in the area, and then I spom out 2 or 3 to start with. So that's the start of the session, over one rod, that's activated. Now depending on liners, fish being seen, fish being caught, then I'd add, say I hadn't had anything, I'd add maybe 1 spom every hour. So it's like noise, and then you've got that attractiveness in the water, right, reactivating it, pulling fish in. But if I get bites, then I'm gonna like speed it up. And I only like to put a few boilies out when I'm fishing because it's whole food items. I want them to come to that hook bait and pick the hook bait up, not sitting there picking up loads of boilies. Now, if I'm using this water, or whatever water I'm using, as my main winter water, I like to put more boilie in when I leave them when I'm fishing, apart from when I'm getting bites. Now, when I start getting more and more bites, I'm going to add more and more boilies to it. And then that call it spod mixture, whatever you want to call it. And once you've got that food going, it just, I've caught so many carp from, well, I'm known for winter fishing. It's quieter, it's ridiculous amounts. I mean, when I hit places like Waveney Valley Lakes, I can bag 80 to 106 20s for the winter. Now, a lot of people, I know it's my job and that, a lot of people don't catch that in the summer. The other part of it as well is you've got to keep the bait going in and regular. So once I'm happy with everything, I've got the spots sorted where I'm happy, where I'm fishing. I just like to keep everything topped up because at the end of the day, say there was 10 anglers fishing per day, a stringer, 10 baits, a stick mix, a kilo, it goes down to nothing. So basically them fish are reverting when they want something to eat to natural food larders. So you have to compensate for that. And if you've got bream and tench problem and diving birds, that's another problem. So all you need to do is prepare this mix, and this mix will catch you more carp.
Hope you've enjoyed the video we've done today. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. We're going to be putting up lots of videos over the next few weeks. Also, if you're watching it on Facebook, please like our page and leave some comments below. If you go onto our website, you can come onto our mailing list. We're going to be doing lots of different carp tips, secret videos. Every single week we're going to have different anglers on here doing videos, and I really hope you enjoy them. Tight lines and good luck.